Think about some of the greatest inventions of all time. Now think about when were they invented and who invented them. The Mesopotamians invented the wheel around 3500 BC. This sentence is what we call the active voice. This is how we usually talk in normal conversation. In this lesson, we will learn how to make sentences in passive voice, which is, the wheel was invented by the Mesopotamians around 3500 BC. See the difference between the two? Now let's see another example. Alexander Graham Bell first patented the electric telephone in 1876. This again is an active voice. Let's rewrite the sentence in passive voice. The electric telephone was first patented in 1876. Did you notice the little difference again? Let's look at the 4 different reasons we use the passive voice. First is to change the focus from who to what. So in this example, we move the focus from Alexander Graham Bell to the electric telephone. But why? Why change the focus from who to what? It could be that the what is more important than who, or the who is not necessary to mention. It could be that the person is unknown, or it could be that we simply want to avoid mentioning the who. Let's look at this example. We say the contract has been prepared, probably because the who, that is the assistant, is just not necessary to be mentioned. In this example, we say the order form has been lost because we probably want to avoid blaming the person who lost it, or we just don't know who lost it. Another reason why we use the passive voice is to make the information sound more formal. This is very common in news reports. For example, the population is projected to increase over 12% in 20 years. We also use the passive voice to talk about reputation. For example, California is known to be warm and sunny. Another use of passive voice is to describe processes or how something is done. For example, when the grapes have been picked, they are taken to the factory. Now let's understand the sentence structure. It's a little different depending on the tenses, so I'm simplifying it by one type of tense at a time. So let's start with present simple, past simple, future simple with the irregular verb eat. We need to add the to be form in the same tense and to change the verb to the past participle form. So in present simple, it is or are eaten. In the past simple, it's was or were eaten. And in the future, it'll be will be eaten. Let's look at this example. Linda ate the last piece of cake. Well, we can avoid blaming poor Linda and focus on what happened by saying the last piece of cake was eaten. Ate becomes eaten. Another one. If we want to focus on what and when instead of who, we can say the first vaccine was developed in 1796. We may or may not mention by Edward Jenner. Developed becomes was developed. Now, let's try that with the continuous tense. We add the to be form in continuous tense and change the verb to the past participle form. Let's look at this example. If we want to focus on the baker, will be making becomes will be being made by adding being and changing the making to made. Now, finally, the perfect tense, which actually is a little easier because it already has the past participle of the verb. So all we need to do is add been. In this example, have taken becomes have been taken. All necessary measures have been taken to prevent a crisis. Now you try. Change the sentence to passive voice. Pause the video if you need more time. Robotics is being redefined. The focus is on robotics. Small jobs are being replaced by machines. The focus is moved from we to small jobs. Our everyday lives will be changed. The focus is moved from robots to our everyday lives. Try some more examples.
I am being sent to Shanghai for 3 months.
The Olympic Village will be closed after the Games.
The whole story is not being told to us.
Now think about those greatest inventions once again. When were they invented and by whom? Can you say it in passive voice?
The light bulb was invented by Thomas Edison in 1879.
The first practical motor car was created in 1885.
Our communication, commerce and entertainment have been transformed by the 1990s creation of the World Wide Web.
Planes were invented in 1903 by the American Wright brothers.
Remember when to use the passive voice. To move focus from who to what happened, to talk about reputation, to talk about processes, and to sound more formal, like in news reports.